Welcome to the Economic and Cultural Development Committee, 10th of June, starting at 11:55. I note that the councillors in attendance are Deputy Mayor Johnnick, Councillor Madsen, Councillor Doyle, Councillor Martin and Councillor Madden. I note that the time at present is close to eating time, so I move that we move to an adjournment till 12:30. Thank you, Councillor Madden. Seconded. So will all those in favour? Thank you. That's unanimous and carried. I'll see everyone back at 12:30. Thank you. So welcome back everyone for the Economic and Cultural Development Committee. We just had a short break and we'll just go around. We'll start up again with the attendants who we've got in the room at the moment. So we've got the Mayor, Teresa Harding, Deputy Mayor Nicole Johnnick, and we've got our councillors, Jacob Madsen, Councillor Doyle, Councillor Antonelli, Councillor Martin and Councillor Madden. So we've got everyone here. Thank you. I see Councillor Martin's waving and he's ready for his part. So I'm going to ask Councillor... Oh, no, sorry. I was going to ask the Mayor to do the acknowledgement.
Thank you, Chair. Ipswich City Council respectfully acknowledges the traditional owners as custodians of the land and waters we share. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging as the keepers of the traditions, customs, cultures and stories of proud people.
Thank you, Mayor. Do we have any declarations of interest on the agenda? No, we don't. We don't have any business outstanding. So we'll move to the confirmation of minutes. So do we have any questions for the minutes? Thank you. I'll take that as read. So do I have a mover? Thank you, Councillor Doyle. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Deputy Mayor Johnnick. Discussion? None. I put that to the vote. All those in favour? And that's unanimous and carried. Thank you. So we move to item 2, which is the officers' report. And the first one on the list is the Spark Ipswich 2025 Festival of Arts and Culture Program preview. So this is the recommendation is the contents noted. Does anyone do you have any questions of any of the officers? No, great, neither do I. So do I have a mover for that? Councillor Doyle, thank you. Second by Councillor Antonelli. Discussion? Yeah, thank you. Mayor Harding.
Thank you, Chair. Spark Ipswich 2025 is designed as a platform to showcase and celebrate the people, the places, arts and culture of our city. And the program engages around 67 artists and 65 performers across 52 events. I'd like to congratulate local artist Kiana Good, who has been announced as the Spark Ipswich 2025 branding artist. Kiana's artwork is a collection of Ipswich motifs, including the clock tower, the Bremer River reeds, the sawtooth roofs and arched windows of our industrial buildings. We have all our favourites returning, including Spark After Dark, Delight, Waimea and Little Day Out. But there are also some new additions with Guru Dudu's silent disco walking tours, Ignite celebrating creativity, Spark Youthful Vision and a street art jam. Of course, this will be going on while we all celebrate a really important milestone for our city, and that is the Civic Centre, which is the heart of our arts and culture in our city. Will be celebrating its 50th year. Spark Ipswich is a real collaboration between council, local organisations, businesses. This will be too many for me to list from the report, but it's great to see that melding of businesses and local organisations and the creative community coming together for this fantastic, festival of creativity. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to thank all the officers for this report, because if you read it, there's a lot of information. We could go on forever on it. And thanks, Mayor, for pointing out when we think about Spark, it is about our arts and our culture here in Ipswich. So I think there's so many things there. As you said, there's 52 events, and I think I'm very interested and very excited about the 50 years celebrating our Civic Centre. I think we've all got an invitation to that, so hopefully everyone has seen that and will be going to it. So, thank you very much for this report. So, any other?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, thank you, council officers, for the Spark program and the work that's gone into putting that together. Looking forward to Hexadeca, checking that one out, as well as the Bubble Canteen. I'd just like to acknowledge the 50-year celebrations for the Civic Centre. I've been contacted by quite a few residents who are really interested in this and, just, I guess, emphasised or amplified just what an important asset this is in our community. A lot of our residents, that have lived here all their life or for decades have great affection and connection to that civic centre. So looking forward to those celebrations. Thank you.
Yes. Thanks, Councillor Doyle. So if there's no other discussion, I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? And that's unanimous and carried. So we move on to item 3, which is the City of Ipswich Economic Update. Do we have any questions for any relevant officers? No? So do I have a mover for that? Thank you, Deputy Mayor Johnick. A seconder? Thank you, Mayor Harding. Discussion? Deputy Mayor Johnick.
Great to see the numbers in our growth domestic product, and that in comparison to Queensland as a whole, and in comparison to some of our neighbouring councils, some not so small. So, it's a great, report with some great numbers for Ipswich.
Great. Yes, I definitely concur with you, Deputy Mayor. We've cracked the $15 billion mark, which is great. And that reflects a growth of 4.2%. And as you said, Deputy Mayor, compared to the other LGAs, Moreton grew by 2.4, Gold Coast 1.96, Logan 2.6. I'll come back to Logan. Townsville 1.9. And so when we look at our growth, and we're always saying that we're growing at a fast rate, we're the fastest growing, and then there's other councils that say the same thing. But I think for us, everyone's growing, everyone needs houses, the construction industry is growing quite fast, but it's the other side of the coin, not just our construction, it's our exports. They were contributed to $8.2 billion to our economy. So I think that's the part that's growing faster than everyone else. And when we have commentary about, no, we are, you are, they are, well, I think everyone's growing fast in the construction side, but we're growing faster in the other side. Yeah. So, it's great to see that. I do also note that on the 15th of May, there was a couple of us that we welcome a delegation from a number of countries to Ipswich as part of the Australian Government Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade Consular visit. So that's also to encourage growth. And I think we had a number of, Mayor, I don't know if you can remember how many, there were so many different countries there. They were so intrigued in investing in Ipswich. So I think that was a very, very good visit. So, and the Games update, the release of the 2032 development plan confirmed Brighton Homes Arena as an Olympic venue, subject to final sports program. So we might still have a sport. We've got the venue. We might still have a sport just yet, but we'll wait and see on that one. And obviously, the North Ipswich Reserve Sports Entertainment Precinct also represents a good opportunity for potentially pre-game training and events, because we know that athletes and teams will be travelling here to get acclimatised. So again, this was a really good report, so thank you to all the officers that have brought that to the table. Do I have anyone else with any commentary? Thank you, Councillor Martin.
Yeah, can I just ask a question with regard games update? There's an indication that some funding was given to Musketeers baseball, Rosewood Showgrounds and Queen's Park. That was my understanding. It was an election commitment, not a games commitment. I just wondered why it's in there as a games update.
I can probably answer that.
Thank you.
It was announced as part of the state governments after the review. They had the Games On, I think it was called. Game On program was announced.
I just thought that was pre-election commitments for just those clubs. I didn't, in the lead up to the election, I don't remember that ever being an Olympic Games commitment. I just thought, like Rosewood Showground getting lights, for example, I didn't think that had anything to do with Olympic Games.
It's funding. I think it's meant to be for legacy, so I think it's just great. Any funding we're getting in.
Through the chair, my understanding is that they've just kind of rebadged existing funding announcements and put it into that program. Certainly the one up at the tennis courts wasn't initially associated with the Olympics as a commitment. That's
also my point. I just think that that's a bit of a Hail Mary saying that Ipswich is actually getting something for the Olympics. $7.1 billion spent for the Olympic Games, and us to just get a few crumbs and things that aren't seriously. Rosewood Showgrounds getting lights. It's not going to give us anything for the Olympics. I think it's a bit of a stretch by state government to say that's a legacy for Ipswich because of the Games. I'd like to actually have a legacy from the Games, personally. So I just think it's a bit of a long bow and kind of almost think it's double dipping. It was an election commitment for the last election, state election, not an Olympic Games commitment. So
No, I hear what you're saying.
Thank you.
Yeah, that it's as Councillor Madsen said, it's been rediverted. And on that, yes, I agree with you. It's sort of like we've got these, is it a legacy? But I do note that Brighton Homes is a venue in case there's new sports or sports that something happens. We've got a venue ready for them that's been approved as an Olympic venue. So on that side of things, I'm not doubting what you're saying about the Rosewood and that sort of thing. I do sort of concur with you that it is a stretch to say that that's legacy, but I do then say on the other side that Brighton Homes is ready, and the North Ipswich Reserve is a potential host for pre-games, anyone coming here to look to get acclimatised. Yeah.
Even North, sorry, through the chair, sorry.
Sure, yeah, sure. I just can't see. Sorry, Mayor, I can't see you. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, just North, like they're potentially going to get a balcony in the clubhouse. So I hardly see how that's adding to training facilities, as the report seems to indicate or suggest. Just, like if it was genuine, we were getting upgrade to a sporting field or something, and potentially a country was going to come and use it, yeah, by all means, yeah, I'd love to claim it and love to see it. I just would love us to actually have a legacy where we do have sporting teams or something come here, or nations, for example. So, yeah, like if they're giving us money for our tartan track, as has been discussed just last week, well, let's hope so, and then let's actually celebrate and say, hey, we've got some money from state government for an Olympic legacy. However, at the moment, I just think it's a bit of a stretch to say those things are getting funding for the Olympics.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you on that sense. Mayor?
I just want to reiterate back in 2015 when the Council of Mayors, put up to be part of the Games as to get transport upgrades in southeast Queensland. And we always knew the population growth was coming here, but we were not getting the corresponding transport infrastructure funding for southeast Queensland that the rest of regional Queensland was getting, and even other parts of Australia as well. Part of that bid at that time was that 85% of the venues were built, and Brighton Homes Arena was one of those ones. We are very fortunate that we are one of 12 councils in Queensland that will have actually an Olympic game, a medal event in their city. And at the moment, Modern Pentathlon is that slated, but it could be something else. It's a great venue. We know that whilst, obviously there's been a number of reviews by the previous state government where no additional funding was given for any sporting infrastructure. The current state government also did the review and gave no extra money for sporting infrastructure. So we're sort of at where what was, I guess, originally promised. Look, I am bitterly disappointed. We saw last year many of the other councils getting money from their state and federal MPs in their area. We completely missed out. Certainly when the review was done by this government, I put forward, I did a submission myself on top of the council one, asking for money for a tartan track to the current state government, for an indoor sports stadium, as well as for the Ipswich Convention Exhibition Centre as well. That's part of the advocacy. And because we didn't have the funding, such as Logan and Moreton Bay, they got a couple of $100 million from their state and their federal MPs last year. So they were in position to get that. I won't go to the whys and wherefores of why the state government have badged things as they are. That's for them to explain. But I will say the upgrades that we're having done at North Ipswich Reserve puts us in a good place. We do know that there are not enough venues for the sports that are happening. And the organising committee is now going through that process of what sports are going to what venues. And I think the whole idea is let's upgrade what we can and be in the running for that. I lay it completely at our state and federal MPs. We don't have the funding. I mean, councils only have received 2.7% of the taxes and we haven't been getting that funding. So, we got the funding for Brighton Homes Arena from the state and the federal government. We got funding from the state and the federal government for North Ipswich Reserve. I think we lean into that as best we can.
Thank you, Mayor.
Sorry, yeah, whilst I concur, me personally, I'm bitterly disappointed with the Olympics coming. I don't believe we're getting a cent because, as you said, Mayor, Brighton Homes Arena is already completed. There was no hint of additional funding for further stands or anything. These other projects, notwithstanding their hundreds of thousands of dollars, I don't believe they have anything to do with the Olympics. I would much rather have the mantra that we, as a council, municipality, have not got 1 cent from the $7.1 billion funding allocated for the Olympic Games. And I would like to stand on that. I seriously don't like the fact that they can say, oh, you were given funding for something that, to me, is, as Councillor Madden said, just rehashing. I think it's potentially the state trying to say, oh, well, you got something. I'd rather be on record saying we got nothing, and I am bitterly disappointed, as are most of the residents of our city, by virtue of the fact that we are a sport-loving city. We have the Olympics on our doorstep. Again, $7.1 billion spent. Sunshine Coast is getting an upgrade of $160 million for their sporting grandstands, 2 grandstands. We're not getting an extra cent for anything with regard to the Olympics. So, me personally, I still want to say we're getting nothing. I understand this about potentially having the, like it's penciled in at the moment, there's no guarantee at the moment with regard to pentathlon. Notwithstanding, there are a couple of events that we can't have because if fencing is one of the, disciplines, we don't have a facility for that, nor do we have a swimming pool at Brighton Homes Arena. So potentially they have running around a track, shooting at a target, and I don't even know whether they have the equestrian because they're building a facility, again, an $80 million facility up in Toowoomba. So I want to be on record that our council has got nothing, not a cent, for the Olympic Games, and I would love to stand corrected that state government comes out, Tim Mander comes out and says, well, actually, you guys are going to get a facility. Hey, would welcome that money. However, at the moment, I don't believe we're getting any money, and I don't want a hint that the state government gets any credit for something that is not actually allocated for the Olympics. And notwithstanding, as you said, Mayor, the North Ipswich stadium, when that gets built, again, there was no hint of a promise of any money of that being with regard to the Olympic Games.
I absolutely, if I go to say, Chair, of that $7.1 billion, we didn't get anything from that. But to say that nothing is happening here in Ipswich is an unfair statement because we are a venue, whether it's the Modern Pentathlon or something else, it is marked down. It's been through, from the beginning of the host document, it's been through 2 government reviews, and it is a venue, so there will be sport going there. We don't have enough venues for the sports at the moment. So I just want to be really clear because I do hear some people saying that nothing's happening here. We didn't get any of the $7.1 billion, and I think we're all disappointed with that. Very disappointed. And I think we lay that at our state and federal MPs. But to say that we're not having anything happening here is untrue, because that is a venue. That is listed, it's been through all the reviews and it stands there still, and with also a great deal of interest in the North Ipswich Reserve. But, that has been through a number of reviews. So I think anyone saying nothing's happening here, we are hosting a medal event here in our city. We will be a co-host city. So, and that's been confirmed in all the reviews.
If I may, Mayor, and I mean, it's my understanding that the heptathlon, if it actually occurs, pentathlon, modern pentathlon, so I'm glad to be corrected. If it isn't had, then what sport will it be? Because it can only be a sport that would be suitable for that venue. So if there's been no other sports nominated, then we are really at the mercy as to whether the modern pentathlon is actually conducted.
Again, one of the duties of the organising committee, now that the venues have been decided, now the organising committee will make those decisions on what sport will be in the Olympic and the Paralympic Games. So that's a process that's underway in the next 12 months.
That doesn't necessarily answer my question, though. The question is, what other sports could be conducted there that are Olympic sports if it's not going to be the modern pentathlon?
Thank you, Councillor Antonelli. I noted, Councillor Martin, your comments about being very bitterly disappointed. I share half your concerns. I think also that we can focus on the sports and the grounds and the venues, but there's also a second aspect to it as well that we mustn't forget. And I know the team, through Mr. Heenan, is looking at more of our what else we can do. So we can, if we keep focusing on what we don't have, we're going to miss the opportunity of what can we also create through our tourism networks, our, things that can happen while events aren't happening, and that will add again to our economic bottom line as well. So we've got to look at that part of it as well. So, but share your disappointment in some of it, but hopeful that there will be progression and we get named a sport at especially Brighton Homes.
Yep.
Yes, Mayor.
Chair, if I could also add that when you're looking at legacy, it's not just a matter of having venues. And you touched on the economic opportunities, and I think Ipswich is a great manufacturing city and there'll be plenty of opportunities. But can I also talk about the fact that one thing that came away from the London Olympics, one of the biggest legacy issues was health. So getting people active at that grassroots level. So we know that participation in grassroots sports, health and wellbeing is a legacy. That doesn't mean you're getting an extra facility, but that's a legacy that they're very keen in Australia. We do have very high rates of obesity, so that's an area that we're really wanting to lean into as a great legacy for Australians. And so that's not about getting a venue, but it is about a great legacy to have healthier Australians.
Thank you, Mayor. Deputy Mayor Johnny.
Thank
for
you.
waiting.
Just, I guess, in closing, can I, not discounting the conversation that's been had, but let's just go back to our gross domestic product rate of 4.2%. For 1 second, let's just think about that. That's like, doing business in Ipswich is
Smart business.
is growing substantially, and that's got to be congratulated. So 100%. We are the place to do business, and I want to reflect that there's other legacies. Can we get some highway upgrades and some interchange upgrades? I can take that as a legacy from the Olympics. Okay? Another lane on the Centenary, a fixed exit on 33.
Yes.
Just saying, but thank you.
Thank you.
Let's celebrate the 4.2.
I totally agree with you, yes. So if that's all the commentary we've got, thank you very much for everyone inputting their valuable knowledge around this. So I'll put that to the vote to adopt this motion. That's myself, Councillor Antonelli. No? Oh, yes, okay. That's unanimous and carried. So we'll move on to item 4 now, which was it was a supplementary report that was only uploaded last night. So it is a report that regularly comes to committee. So it's the Nicholas Street Precinct May 2025 Street Precinct Project Control Group. So does anyone have any questions? Firstly, does anyone have any questions about, no? And, okay, so if there's no questions, I'll move that report. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Mayor Harding. Discussion?
If I'm
Oh, I don't know. Oh, sorry. Thanks, and Councillor Antonelli.
Yeah, so it was more a question, if I might.
Oh, okay. Just one moment. There's confidential information in this report. Is it part of the confidential
No.
part? Okay.
No.
What's your question?
No, it does relate though to tenancies within the precinct. Just with respect to, I note, and I sent a email to the CEO a month or so ago about the use of the projected use of the area, the bulkhead above Gelatissimo, if I can describe it as that. And I was advised that other traders in the Nicholas Street precinct were offered the same opportunity. That's not the advice I've received from those traders. So I'm just making sure that we have made that offer to other traders to use that as an advertising space, like Hoyts have utilised it.
I'm happy to provide that response on notice. Yeah, if I can.
Yeah, happy to receive that.
Okay, we'll
Yep.
take that one on notice. Does anyone
Thank you.
else have any more questions? No? Discussion? No. I would just like to say it's nice to actually say the word Vapiano without, because we haven't been able to say it just yet. So they've got their we announced it in our socials, but they've got a 15-week fit out. So it should be opening in late August, which I'm very supportive of. Yeah. So does anyone else have anything else to say? No. I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? That's unanimous and carried. Go to notice on motion, which we have none. Matters arising, which we have none. Questions or general business? We don't have any, so we'll close the meeting at 12:57 and come back. So I move that we come back at 1:07. All those, I'll put that to the, yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. Right, great. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, ball girls. Thanks, ball boys.